Welcome to Study Loop.
All right, so here's a formula that relates the Fahrenheit temperature and the Celsius temperature, and we're going to find the inverse of it, which basically means in this context, isolate F instead of having C isolated. And so I'm not going to switch the variables like normally we would switch X and Y, but if I switch C and F, then they're no longer going to mean what we want them to mean. We don't want C to stand for Fahrenheit and F to stand for Celsius. So I'm not going to switch the variables in the equation. I'm just going to isolate the other one. So I'll start by multiplying both sides by 9/5. So 9/5 C equals F minus 32. And then add 32 to both sides. So 9/5 C plus 32 equals F. So this would be what we would call the inverse then. Technically, we didn't do any switching or interchanging of variables, but we isolated the other variable. So we can interpret this as the Fahrenheit temperature with respect to the Celsius temperature, or as a function of the Celsius temperature. Now we're interested in knowing the domain of this. Well, the domain of this function will be whatever the range of the previous function was. So what was the range of the previous function? If the domain was f is greater than or equal to negative 459.67, and we substitute that into the equation and solve for c, we end up with negative 626.06. So c is greater than or equal to negative 626.06. That was the range of the original function, so it will be the domain of the inverse function.